So as we are heading into the third week of August, let's look at EU, GU and gold. We'll see what to expect in the coming days. So we'll start with EU. Now looking at the daily time frame on EU, you can see we have this bearish breakout structure over here. So after consolidating over here, price finally pushed to the upside. We mitigated this daily supply over here, came back into this demand and we pushed back high over here. Now what I'm expecting, price could come into this daily demand and push up higher again. To take out this liquidity, we can expect price coming into the EQ of this leg. So I'm still interested in looking for long to take price up to sweep these highs over here. So this is what my aim is coming into this week on EU. So I'm still interested in longs and I will only be interested in shorts after we break this low, price come back down over here, and from there we can expect price coming down to take out these lows over here. So even though we mitigated this daily supply, I would still be interested in looking for longs if price come into this daily demand, push price up since we have clear liquidity above. So this is what I'm thinking on EU on the daily time frame. We also have supply over here, so we can expect price coming into this supply over here and then we can make a move to the downside. So this is what I'm thinking on EU looking at the daily time frame. Now let's see on the H4. So looking at H4, this was the bearish breakout structure, and then we had all this consolidation over here, and then finally we got the internal breakout structure to the upside, and we got another internal breakout structure to the upside. Price came back down into the discount, pushed up high again. So we mitigated this daily supply. Even though we mitigated this daily supply, and I'm still interested in looking for longs if price come into this H4 demand which aligns with this daily demand. I would be interested in looking for longs to take price to the upside. So looking at the recent price action, this is what I'm thinking. We swept these highs over here. So if we are looking for shorts, we'll have short-term sells into this H4 demand, into this daily demand, and from here after a good change of character on the H4, we can expect longs to take price to the upside. So right now I'm not looking for any long-term sell position. I'm still interested in longs to take price to the upside. And the place where I'd be interested in looking for long is from this H4 demand which aligns with the daily demand. So on EU, this is what I'm thinking looking at the H4, still looking to push price to the upside. And if you look at the H1 also, the idea remains the same. Currently we swept these highs. So after sweeping these highs, we have the sharp move down. So I'm expecting if we are having a pullback, we can expect shorts into this H4 demand. And from here, we can look for longs to take price up. No shorts, no long-term shorts unless we break below this level. So I'm still looking for longs. So this is what I'm thinking, and if price doesn't come into this H4 demand, what I would see is after a break of this level over here, they will have a fresh demand. Maybe to expect a continuation, we can expect price coming into the fresh demand, and then from there we can look for longs. So on EU, this is what I'm thinking. Let's look at GU. So on GU, looking at the structure on the daily time frame, we have this bullish breakup structure to the upside. After that, the internal shifted bearish. We came down, swept these lows, and then we broke structure again, bullish internal breakup structure. So now we know the pullback is done and price wants to head higher. So price came back down into this daily demand which aligns with the discount of this leg over here, and then you can see we have been trickling to the upside. So this was my target from past few days, and finally we took out the target. Even though we took out the target, I am still interested in looking for longs to take price up. And from where would I be interested in longs is if price come into this daily demand or even into this daily demand sweeping these lows, I would be interested to take price to the upside. So looking at the daily time frame, this is what I'm thinking, still looking for longs, and I would only be looking for shorts after we get a major structure shift, something like this. After a low high, lower low formation, I would be interested in looking for shorts, but for now still looking for longs. So let's see this on the H4. So on the H4, you can see we have this swing breakup structure to the upside. After that, price came down, the internal shifted bullish, and then we are continuing with this bullish internal structure. Now price came back into this demand over here, but we haven't mitigated this H4 demand and we pushed up again. So if we look at the recent price action over here, we have this internal breakout structure to the upside over here, and we have clear liquidity over here. This liquidity can be an inducement for this H4 demand. This is a high probability H4 demand where I would like price to come into, and from there I would be looking for longs to take price up. So this H4 demand is a high probability demand. So right above that we have also another H4 demand which aligns with the fresh daily demand So if price come over here also, I would be interested in longs. I would be cautious over here, wait for confirmations and then only get in on long, because we have this liquidity over here. So if we get a sweep of this liquidity, then also we can expect looking for longs, even though if we didn't come into this H4 demand. But I would like price to come into this H4 demand since it's unmitigated, and price can come over there, and then we can expect to push price to the upside. So from the H4 perspective, this is what I'm seeing. I'm still interested in looking for longs, even though we took out the high, which was our target from past few weeks. I'm still looking to push price to the upside. So if we are having a pullback, we can have short-term sells on this leg over here, looking for price to come into this H4 demand, and from here we can look for longs, or even we can look for sells to take out this low over here. After taking out these lows, and then we can expect buy to the upside. So this is my plan going into this week. So short-term sells, maybe if we have to look for price to come into this H4 demand, from here I would be looking for longs, or from here. This makes a higher probability because we have inducement just above it. So on the H4, this is what I'm thinking, still looking for longs. I would like to push price to the upside to give another bullish swing breakup structure. So we haven't closed with a candle close, so I'm expecting to push price up, so we get a candle close above. So on GU, this is what I'm thinking. Let's look at the H1. So on the H1 also, we have the same idea of the H4. After this internal breakup structure, you can see this H4 demand is left unmitigated. We have this inducement right above. So short-term sells into this H4 demand over here. And then if we get a change of character, a high probability change of character, we can look for longs from the fresh demand to take price up. Or if that doesn't happen, we can sweep these lows over here. Price would come into this H4 demand. From here we can look for a change of character to take price up. So this is what I'm thinking on the H1 also. The idea remains the same. I'm still looking for longs right now. Short-term sells maybe into this H4 demand or to take out this liquidity. So after that, I would be looking for longs, and shorts after we get a break below and I see a low high lower low formation, I would be interested in shorts. But right now still interested in longs to take price up. So let's see gold. So looking at gold on the daily time frame, so we had this swing breakout structure to the downside. The internal structure also is bearish over here. We had a lot of consolidation over here, and finally price broke to the upside. So now what I'm thinking, that we mitigated this daily supply. Maybe we could have a pullback since we had this huge push. Maybe a pullback into this daily demand, but this daily demand is in the premium zone. So we can still expect price to push from here after a good change of character. So until then, we can still look for shorts to push price down. And if this daily demand doesn't hold, we can expect price coming into this demand over here. So we have imbalance also. So we could fill this imbalance, price could come into this daily demand, which would also align with the discount of this leg over here, and then we can look for a continuation to the upside. So on gold, I'm still looking for longs, even though we mitigated this daily supply. We have liquidity above. So I'm still thinking at least to take out these, we can expect price coming into this daily supply over here, which would be price coming into the premium of this swing leg over here. And then from here we can look for shorts to take price down. So right now I'm still interested in longs from these two zones, from this daily demand and from this daily demand over here. So this is what I'm thinking on the daily time frame. Let's see on the H4. So on the H4 we have this swing breakout structure to the upside. So you can see after mitigation of this H4 supply, we have this change of character and we are falling down. So we swept these lows over here now, and price came back into this H4 supply. Now I expect continuation from here to take out these lows and push price into this daily demand or H4 demand over here. So we'll have short-term sells if this pullback is happening. We'll have short-term sells over here, and from here if price comes, we can look for longs. First try to take price up for a good change of character. So this is what I'm thinking, and if we push higher, we can just look for longs to take price up from the fresh demand that are found while price is going to the upside. So from the H4 perspective, this is what I'm thinking, and in these two levels, this daily demand, this H4 demand fails, we can expect price to come into this daily demand, and we'll get short-term sells to play the pullback into this daily demand. So this is what I'm thinking on the H4 on gold. So let's see on the H1. So looking at the recent price action on the H1 also, the idea remains the same. We swept these highs over here, got a change of character and pull back down, swept these lows over here, and now we push back up. So here you can see on Friday I mentioned that we could have continuation, but this zone failed. So after reanalyzing this, what I found out the mistake was, so we were within the discount area of the leg, so that is why price didn't respect this H1 supply. So now we can see that we came into the premium of the leg, and we can expect a continuation for price to come down. So this is what I'm thinking. Now after mitigation of this H4 supply, you can see that we have fractal change of character on the H1. Maybe if price come back into this H1 supply, we can expect a continuation of price to the downside. So also to keep in mind that we have liquidity build above, we could also sweep these and then we can make the move to the downside. So if we get a break above and this level is holding, we can expect longs from this demand that price is going higher. So on gold, this is what I'm thinking. We also have unmitigated H1 supply over here. Maybe we could also mitigate it and then come down. So these are some possibilities that I'm seeing on gold. So if you ask me what I'm currently focusing on, so maybe if this H4 supply is holding, I would expect short-term sales into this H4 demand, and from here I would be interested in taking price to the upside. So right now this is what I'm thinking, and later on we can follow the price action. So going into this week, this is what I'm thinking on euro, gold and GBP. So if you'd like to see more daily market analysis like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.